They'll do 3 different placements in that first year, and the idea is that they choose 3 different kinds of placements to give themselves an idea of what they might want to do and what they don't want to do as well. That's a big learning curve for them.
G'day, I'm Debra Caldow. Welcome to the Red Giraffe Solutions Expanding Worlds podcast, where we aim to support you as you help your young person with additional needs plan for their future. A future where they're safe, secure, and live a rewarding and fulfilling life. From around the world, I share stories and I share solutions from people making this possible right now. I'm a parent of a young person with additional needs, so I understand the challenges. Many of the people I've interviewed on this podcast have already helped me design a better future for my daughter, and I hope that they might help you as well to imagine what's possible for your young person. This podcast is made possible by Red Giraffe Solutions, which is a project I'm proud to be part of, supporting families to build a better future for their children. We now have available at Red Giraffe Solutions an online course called Independent Cooking Made Easy. This is a new and unique approach we developed when we realised traditional cooking techniques and recipes were never going to enable our daughter to cook without some support or supervision. It's a safe, simple system that uses no more than 5 ingredients, has no weighing, cutting or chopping, and no lifting of heavy dishes. Each of the 16 recipes in the course includes a step-by-step video of our daughter making the meal, plus a visual recipe card. We developed this for our daughter to solve her challenges with cooking, and every recipe in the course she can and does genuinely cook for herself. You can find a link to the course in this episode's show notes. If you're a regular listener to this podcast, you'll already know what a massive fan of supported internships I am. I believe that they're one of the most effective ways for our young people to not only get into paid employment, but to stay in paid employment. And of course, one of the reasons for my enthusiasm is because a supported internship was the route my daughter followed into paid employment. So I'm delighted that in the next 2 episodes of the podcast, I'll be sharing more about the organisation that provided her with that supported internship, Team Domenica. My guest is Ellie Hedley Dent, Employer Partnership Manager at Team Domenica. In this first part of our conversation, Ellie explains the structure of the Team Domenica program and how it's about focusing on building foundational skills and also about providing work experience. If you want to find out a little bit more about the history of Team Domenica, then you can listen to episode 45 of the podcast, where I talked to Lisa Campbell-Squires. This was way back in 2018, but this was certainly a conversation that changed the future for my daughter. But as always, this isn't just about one organisation in one part of the world. This is about sharing best practice and those generalisable ideas that work so effectively. So let's hear from Ellie. Thank you very much, Ellie, for talking to me today. Can we start off by hearing a little bit about you and your background?
Yeah, of course. So my background previous to Team Domenica, since graduating from university, I knew I wanted to work with young people with learning disabilities. I chose to specialise in autism during my course at university and took a real interest in advocating for young people and facilitating their independence so they can negotiate the world in an independent way. And so my first job after university was working for Ealing Mencap as a travel trainer, so training younger students how to use public transport independently so they can get to and from school or college and everything that went with that, so how to deal with strangers and just how to do it safely. So that was a really lovely progression into the work that I now do at Team Domenica, and I really love working with this age group, the young adults, because I know it's such a crucial age and an age that needs our support as well. So my first job at Team Domenica was as a training mentor, supporting the candidates in different elements of their training, whether that's cafe, enrichment and in the classroom. And then I moved into this role as an employer partnership manager in 2022 and have been doing that since and absolutely love it. It's been a new challenge for me. So I work with the employer setting up the placements, whether that's work experience or supported internships, and managing those relationships as well with my employment team. Seeing the kind of impact that Team Domenica has firsthand in the community is brilliant.
Can we just talk about Team Domenica, generally the program? Because obviously you're at the end of a candidate's journey in the sense of when they're going into employment. How does their journey start?
The great thing about my role And what I love about my role is that I play a part in the candidate journey from the beginning. So when candidates first come to us, they're on their supported employment programme in their first year. So that is very much the foundations year where candidates are building on their transferable skills. And it's a self-discovery year. They're figuring out what they like, what they don't like, and where their skills lie. That whole year is for us, as much as them, it's for us to get an understanding of, okay, where do they really thrive and what are their interests? That's why the work experience is really important. But also, even the cafe training in itself, they're learning so many transferable skills there, and they're getting an idea of, okay, do I prefer front of house? Do I prefer back of house? Do I prefer speaking to customers? Do I prefer doing things just a bit more practical, a bit more routine based? And it's learning all those things. And so we sit down with candidates about halfway through their year and have their supported internship interview. Firstly, it's gauging their understanding of a supported internship and what the aim is, and also to talk with them about what their skills are, what their interests are, what have they learnt from work experience, are there any industries that they definitely don't want to do. But also with that, we speak with staff, those staff who have been working really closely with them to get their views on whether is what they want to do matching what their skills are. That's the first bit. It's for us to get an understanding of them, and then understanding what kind of environments they like to work in as well. And so 50% of their training is done in our cafes, and then they do their classroom training where they do maths and English and an employability qualification. Everything in the classroom is geared towards employability and the workplace. And then they have our enrichment wellbeing programs, and that is to build on their softer skills needed for the workplace and also push themselves out their comfort zone and just develop those skills and social skills and just try things a bit different. And that's what we're all about at Team Domenica. It's the holistic approach to getting the candidates ready for the world of work, but also to negotiate the world outside of Team Domenica once they leave. Also in first year, where I come in, so they start to do work experience placements in January. So they will do 2 hours per week, going with a training mentor, and they'll do 3 different placements in that first year. And the idea is that they choose 3 different kinds of placements rather than doing 3 cafes to give themselves an idea of what they might want to do for a job and what they don't want to do as well. That's a big learning curve for them. So that's their first year in a snapshot. And then for those candidates who are ready, they'll go on to our supported internship programme in the second year. And this is very much the pathway to employment for our young people. Over the summer and over that first term of Team Domenica, when they come back, I'll be working hard to find well-matched placements for them based on their skills and interests, but also the needs of the employer. And with employers, I might already have some employers in mind that we already work with that I feel that they would be well suited to. And then the final bit of the matching process is to match someone from our job coach team to that young person as well. Because of course we want it to be a mutual success for the candidate to get into paid work, but also for the employer. And yeah, the matching process is really crucial to that. So they'll spend most of their time with the partnered employer in their week of Team Domenica, anywhere between 12 to 16 hours, but they'll still come to Team Domenica for their classroom day, and they'll still have an assigned one-to-one mentor as well. So they've still got that kind of wraparound support, even though they're out in the workplace.
Can we just dig down into what employability really means? Because it's a term, you hear a lot about employability skills, but what do you think those really are? What are some of the things that are fundamental that you teach the candidates they can then take out into the workplace that I guess enables them to have a successful supported internship?
Some of the challenges that candidates come to us with are those that we tackle throughout their journey with us. Things like being flexible and adaptable, prioritising as well. It's that judgment that you might need in a workplace where, okay, I'm washing these dishes. I can see there's a dirty table. Am I going to continue washing these dishes, or am I going to go and sort out that table? That is such a fundamental part of so many roles, and it's the reality of most workplaces. There's a lot of things that we can overcome through their cafe training. And, you know, even things like making their own decisions, making that informed decision about what they want to do for a first job and am I going to be good at that? That's so important to make that decision based on, yes, it's based on their interests, but being able to make that informed decision of this is what I want to do. Do I have the skills to be able to do that job? Is really important to be able to give the candidates the tools to be able to make those decisions.
Do you think that some of the young people come to Team Domenica and they haven't had the opportunity to make those decisions, to think about what they want? And how do we, as parents, because I'm talking from a parent perspective, how do we support them to have better skills when they get to you, for example?
The first thing to say is that Team Domenica, we've actually had quite a big culture shift in the last couple of years where we, even more so than we used to, we treat the candidates as adults because that is what they are. So it's a very different environment to the educational settings they would have been in the past. And so candidates are at the centre. However, it's really important for us to build those trusting relationships with candidates, but also with the parents as well. For most candidates, that's a really new environment to be in, making all those decisions, these big decisions for themselves where they may not have had the chance to make those decisions beforehand. And it's our job to give them the tools to feel confident to make those. And also alongside that, it's all about experiential learning. So learning through mistakes and through failing and reflecting on that. So we're not going to step in every time we know that a candidate might make a mistake because that's how we all learn. And I think for candidates coming to Team Domenica, a really helpful thing for parents, carers, families, their support network to do before they come is to create that culture of talking about all of your employment journeys, how you've got from where you started to where you are now, your successes, your failures, and having healthy conversations about work. And also a lot of our candidates come with really high aspirations, which is brilliant. And we really want them to come with these goals, these big aspirations for the future. And then there's a bit of a reality check that we need to have with the candidates. Okay, we're probably not going to be able to get you into your dream job, but let's break that down. What are the kind of jobs we can get you into? Where are you going to be using the same skills? So I think for any parent, carer and families to have those conversations with candidates before they enter Team Domenica. So we're not the ones giving them that news first. So they're already knowing this is where I want to be in however many years. But these are the kind of things that maybe I'll be able to do before then. I think that's really helpful as well.
And again, I'm just asking more for your opinion. But do you think that often young people with additional needs aren't given those aspirations perhaps as much as their peers might be?
I actually would say, from my experience of being at Team Domenica, all of our candidates have high aspirations. Some candidates may not know what they want to do, but that's actually a conversation that comes up a lot with employers. We have these candidates who are motivated, want to enter the workplace, and if you ask any employer what they're looking for in an employee, it's probably going to be those things. And if you ask an employer what their aspirations are for the future, or any other person, they're probably going to align with a lot of our candidates and what they want to get out of work. And also a really fundamental thing at Team Domenica is candidates come to us and they have to want to work. So they come with that drive. That's already there. We can work with that. So I would argue against that point. I think we all have aspirations, but obviously this group need to be given more opportunity to be able to reach those aspirations.
So what you're saying really is that they already have the aspirations, but the opportunity isn't there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why places like Team Domenica need to exist.
I think one of the reasons that the Team Domenica program is so effective is down to that holistic approach. Yes, this is about getting into paid work, but it's also about encouraging decision making, fostering that culture of aspiration. All of these things help the young people that they support reach their full potential. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that the stories and solutions shared on here help you as you support your young person to create their future. If you know anyone who would find the ideas useful, please share the podcast with them. To support the podcast, please consider finding out more about the Independent Cooking Made Easy online course. It's a safe, simple system that works. There are links to the course in the show notes. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at Debra Caldow. I'd love to have a conversation with you on any of the topics we all care about. Bye for now.